Pbkc, your ultimate destination for poker excitement in South Florida. 65 tables of action. Friendly and professional staff. Cash games featuring the best jackpots and promotions in the state. Daily and evening tournaments that cater to all levels of players. Table games like 3-card poker and Ultimate Texas Hold'em with just a $5 minimum. Experience all the thrill and excitement of Vegas-style poker right in your own backyard. Get cool summer vibes this June in the poker room with new, bigger high hand promotions. High hands every 15 minutes, 9 a.m. to midnight, with a $15,000 cash giveaway on June 28th. Also this month, progressive high hand weekends with a $100,000 bonus giveaway. Win extra cash for qualifying hands. Miss it today, win more tomorrow. Visit the poker room for complete rules. Yeah, it's Wednesday morning. It's 10 a.m. We're here at Pbkc for Pbkc Picks, and we have a lot of great topics today. My name is Mike Jameson, right here. Noah Carbone. What's up?
How you doing today, Mike? We just covered that I don't need my Mountain Dew this morning because I am hyped up on winning and statistics. So I'm ready to get into this thing. That's what I do, Mike. I pick winners and I spit stats.
He does. And behind him, from the Earnestly Speaking podcast, a longtime poker dealer, it's Mr. Ernest Christian.
I feel lonely right
You
now.
look relaxed back there today.
I feel very lonely right now. No,
Yeah.
Mike, come back
Who's missing?
Pat Rooney is missing. I know he enjoyed the golf tournament last week, and he's away for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But we're
World
going
traveler.
to try to do it without him.
Press on.
It's not going to be as fun and as entertaining, but
No, but I get to be in charge now.
But now Noah's the highest
Start the
ranking
show.
official here on the show, so now it's going to be bedlam. But the first thing we're going to talk about, before we even jump into talking about the promos and what's going on here, congratulations to the Florida Panthers.
Oh, how about that?
Oh, they won last
amazing.
night? That's awesome.
They did.
Wow.
The Panthers are the Stanley Cup champs 2 years in a row.
Right. So as I predicted, right?
Here we
because what I do is
You
I
pick
pick
winners.
I pick
You pick
champions. So
winners and
we could get into the
champions.
whole history, picking all these champions, Super Bowl champions, and college football and all that stuff. We'll get there, okay? But let's just talk about last night in that game. Florida they just outplayed them, out-hustled them the whole entire way. They got out 2 goals early. Edmonton had no answer for that thing. The writing was on the wall, and it was all she wrote. And, you can imagine Edmonton comes in back-to-back, right? They have home ice advantage at points and to start the series. And you're like, okay, this is going to be the one. We're going to break through. Canada's finally going to win one after, 80 years or whatever it's been taken for them to get one. And they come out and just absolutely lay an egg. And, it's got to be disappointing. Connor, he didn't show up in any way. The fans, they got to be beside themselves. You're starting to turn into the Buffalo Bills of hockey. You're getting there and then you lose. And you get there and you lose. And it's got to be tough. But on a positive note, man, what a celebration. Florida has entrenched itself, just only the Panthers, but Florida hockey itself has entrenched itself as like, what's Hockey Town, Detroit?
Yeah.
No
it
longer.
was.
Florida
Oh,
is
it
hockey
is.
state. That's it.
That's one of the questions I was going to have when we were talking about hockey, just to mention Sam Reinhart had a historic
That was
4
wild.
goals
That
last
was
night.
insane.
Absolutely unbelievable. Now that the Panthers have won 2 in a row, one of the Florida teams has made the Stanley Cup the last 6 years in a row. I think, Florida is the official hockey state. I don't care what people say. They didn't give us credit for that for a long, long time. But having so many Stanley Cup champs and being in the Stanley Cup 6 years in a row, the state of Florida is now the epicenter of hockey.
Like, that's bizarre. It's literally 900 degrees outside right now
Yeah.
in hockey, which is played on ice. Like, what's next? Like, is Key West going to be the host of the Curling World Championship? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Winter
It's
Olympics in Key West. I like that.
Another champions too. This relevancy too in general. Tampa's been good for a very long time.
Yeah.
Florida's been building this for a very long time. This is not a blip that came out of nowhere. They were Presidents Cup winners 4 years ago. Went to the Cup a year after that. Then win 2 in a row. So they're at the point now. They're carrying this town now. Like,
are we talking? Okay, are we dynasty? Is this the greatest?
So
sports
let me ask you a question.
team? Oh, am I ahead of myself?
I'm glad you said that. How do you define dynasty? Because to me, there's a lot of rules for me. I have to see.
Oh, you got to start talking when you win back to back, and if you make 3 finals in a row, you really got to start talking.
If you win 2 titles in a row, are you considered a dynasty? Or do you need to win 3 in a row to become a dynasty?
Well, you got to add the layer that they went the first year, right? And then they lost that one, and then back-to-back championships.
So then Detroit Pistons are dynasty then from the 88, 89, 90.
No, it was. They talked about that. They did talk about that. But what do you need to do? You need to win consistently. Can they keep this team together for next year? Where Marshawn, it sounded like
Ekblad, Marshawn, Bennett, and Schmidt all free agents.
Why not? You're on a roll like this, and what are you going to go? You're going to leave for a couple more bucks? Probably not. I mean, this thing's wild what they're doing down there, and man, it's brought life. Like South Florida sports overall, not great.
Not
doing
well right now.
Right.
But not a lot to cheer for.
Yeah, the Panthers and what they're doing and filling that arena every single game and the atmosphere and excitement, and then now we're national recognition. In my opinion, how about this? The NBA, you have the NBA Finals and you have the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know which product is starting to turn the corner. The NBA product, and we'll get into that, was struggling a little bit. And the finals, man, that was must-see TV.
It was. And, they're planning the parade for Sunday, and it's
That's
funny.
Time too.
We're having the hockey winners parade.
Where's that? Like, what happened? They're on boats and yachts and stuff?
Yeah, they're on boats
last year
and yachts.
were they in downtown last year?
Downtown in the rain, and it was crazy weather.
What do we do? We get, like, what's that river down there or whatever it is?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Los Olas.
Ernest,
you're from down there, right?
Riverfront. Well, I lived there for a couple of years, but
okay, yeah. So you're a South Beach guy, right?
Yeah.
No,
definitely
not.
No. But so the party will be on South Beach, and all the hockey fans will be there. It's going to be kind of wild. I saw something on Twitter about they were coming in for the game. A family was traveling from somewhere for the game, and the Stanley Cup came out on the luggage.
Nice.
The Stanley Cup came out on the luggage thing. Just
that's
rolling
awesome.
Right. There's the Stanley Cup going right on the
luggage. So great.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
that's ours now. We've had that.
Again.
2 years in a row. If you want to see the Stanley Cup, you got to come down here.
Yeah, exactly.
The cool thing about it is I'm looking at this morning. I'm waking up after all this happened, and looking at how what this team's meant to the city so far. So South Florida for the most part in the last 56 years have been a football town. And then I would say the last 25 to 30 years. The Heat has been the talk of the town.
Okay.
Now the Panthers in the last 4 or 5 years have been the team carrying this market. This Panthers team, I was thinking about this also too because I know the history of this town. I've been living here since 1989. I've been a fan pretty much since then. And you look at all the great teams in this era of this town we've had. 72 Dolphins. They won 2 Super Bowls.
Way back, right?
They're still talking about it.
That's all they talk
right.
about.
That's all they have.
Remember that time we won all the games?
You had the Miami Hurricanes, 80s and 90s, I mean a little bit of 2000s. What they did there. And then you have the Heat Big Three with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
Okay.
I think, to be honest, I think this Panthers thing, what they've done the last 5-6 years, is the most impressive of all. Because in that sport, to do what they've done in this sport, it's hard. The last repeat champion we ever had, the last repeat champion we had was Tampa a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Last repeat we had has been 40 years from now. It was 40 years ago. The Islanders, 80 to 83, won 4 in a row. So what the Panthers have done with this team the last 5-6 years, and again, this is not a blip. This come out of nowhere. They've been building this for 6-7 years now. Little by little, going to the playoffs, winning the playoff series, and then win President's Cup, and then you see what you have here. I think this Panthers team, including the Marlins World Series, Heat titles, and I'm a dire Heat fan. You know how I feel about that.
We do.
This is the most impressive sports feat I've seen in this market ever.
What do we think of moving forward? All right, so you know how I pick champions, and that's what I do. So what are we doing looking forward? I can't put the stamp on it now. Okay, so a lot goes into this. You just don't have this. It's not natural for everybody. I got stuff that goes into it, and I got to see the re-signings and see what happens, see how it's going to play out, and I do calculations and projections on goals. You wouldn't even understand.
You do a lot of work and math.
Behind the scenes, ChatGPT, all this stuff. I don't want to tell everybody. I'll just tune in here. I'll give you the winner. I'll save you all the work. I'll do the work for everybody. But I can't stamp it next year. But I am optimistic about what they're going to do.
Okay. What do you mean? Just keeping their guys?
Next year. No, optimistic as far as what
you are. Not according to Hard Rock this morning. An hour ago, I checked Hard Rock.
Yeah.
They're number 4.
Yeah, Hard Rock doesn't know.
So
listen, it's free money on Hard Rock. I've been giving everybody the picks. Go on there, pick the picks. I know they're saying it's not the favorite. That's the beauty of the whole pick in the sport. If the favorite won every time, Ernest, it wouldn't be worth anything.
No, I agree. But here's the thing. So your order right now, the futures for next year.
Right.
Edmonton favorite 650. Carolina
Yeah.
and Dallas ahead of Florida.
Wow.
At plus 900.
I'm here for
and
it.
And then Florida at plus 1,000.
Right. That's where I make my living, Mike.
So if you're going to bet it,
It's
bet
time.
now.
It's
right
time.
in there
Bet now.
with bad decisions. Like, you see it.
Yeah.
Strike when the iron's hot. When you see the bad odds, get in there and get the champion. I know what they are.
And I
Start your parlay
well,
now.
I think the reason it's that high, though, is because, again, you have Ekblad, you have Marchand right now,
Right.
Sam Bennett, and Schmidt, all free agents, potential free agents, this offseason. So depending on how much guys they keep. Now, obviously, if they keep all 4 guys or 3 to 4 guys, that number will probably shrink.
I should actually set the lines.
You should.
I should be the one.
You know,
who's
Okay,
picking. Like,
Eagles over under.
I'm waiting for my phone to ring and be like, who's going to win the Stanley Cup so we don't give them too high odds? I'm
Hard
waiting for
Rock
that
Bet
call.
is going to call you probably.
They're going to be like,
and
hey,
add that
is it
to your
okay if we
workload.
put that as a favor? Because, like,
I could see
what's
it.
going on
So
over
what's
there?
the Eagles line for the next year? 12 and a half wins?
What's that?
12 and a half wins for the Eagles next year? Set in line?
We're not there yet. We got to
not
take
there
it
yet.
slow.
Come on, we're talking about hockey
Come on,
right
genius.
now. Right, come on. But, no, they're going to have a parade on Sunday. We don't exactly know where it is yet or what time.
Probably the
Odds
same
on
place.
Superfan being at the parade.
Superfan?
100%, right? Yeah. Okay.
Does he have the beard still? I haven't seen him in a couple of days.
Hopefully
As of last week.
Hopefully that comes off after the parade. Cause
Yeah, he said he will.
Yeah.
It's a little-
Beards are unprofessional. I can tell you that right now.
Well, certain.
Tell the Yankees
certain
that.
beards.
Certain beers.
Tell the Yankees that.
But congratulations to all the Panther fans. We have so many here. He just talked about superfan Matt Fagan. We got Brendo. So many people that
so
were like
many.
just.
No one bigger than Matt. I'm sorry. I'll put Matt against anyone on this planet.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah,
bigger
he
than
lives
Matt.
it. Almost the way I love the Eagles. Almost.
Yeah.
No, I think Matt's
you
worse
and
than
him. Yeah, it would be a good competition of how many people
This dude
are upset.
This
yeah.
dude went to Canada to see a Panthers game.
He did.
Canada, regular season game, not a playoff game.
Mhm.
I mean,
All
that's
right.
still
Out of the country, you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay.
multiple times.
Same continent, though.
Same continent.
Oh, come
It's-
on.
It's in North
You need a
America.
passport.
Right? It's still in North America? I don't know. I haven't seen a map lately. But so congrats to the Panthers.
Yeah, amazing.
Now we're going to talk about the June high hands going on in the poker
Yeah.
room. We skipped that early because we have to talk about the champs. But June high hands,
This
bigger,
thing-
better, best.
Okay, I'm going to say this. And I'm going to give a little preview. This is going so well with these new promotions that we put in place a few months ago, and I know we talk about it each week on the show. A little inside secret. We're running it again next month.
What?
Yeah, so a little inside, but we'll
Okay.
get. But anyway, come in and get this money. June 28th, you got to get your ticket. June 28th, you see all those people, like guys
It's
winning
nuts.
5,000 here and there, and then imagine this: you come in, you win a high hand for like 250, then you tune into our show the following week and listen to my champion pick
Oh,
and
God.
parlay that thing. You'll be
Hands
a
down.
millionaire in a week.
A millionaire, possibly a billionaire too. The poker room, June poker room. It's high hands every 15 minutes.
You know how good this thing is? I'm working a couple Sundays every so often now. Because
Oh, really?
Well,
it's
thanks
busy.
for doing your
So
job.
we got you
I
coming
mean,
in
I don't
on
work Sundays,
Sundays.
Noah.
Well, that's
Right.
nice.
We're my kids.
You work when I tell you to work.
Yeah, Ernest is coming in and dealing some poker
Wow.
like he's supposed to.
Thanks
be
a
doing.
lot.
You
You're
can't
welcome.
just host podcasts all the time, Ernest.
Yeah, you know.
But
You know.
also, like Jake keeps reminding me, the bad beat jackpot's up over 200,000.
Well, now it's gone because that's usually what somebody mentions a bad beat.
Yeah.
I mentioned it 3 weeks ago.
I
It hasn't
just
hit yet,
jinxed
so
it,
maybe
so-
I'll
I
say.
know, but now it's.
I just
really
jinxed
gone.
the bad beat. That's
Yeah.
going soon. And also the $10 poker party is going to come up next Friday night,
Yeah.
not this Friday night, next
Nice.
Friday
Was next
night.
Friday? Okay.
We'll talk
So-
about that more on the show
Yeah,
next
you got
week.
something special for that or no?
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you
I'm
get
looking
that
at some
stamp
kind of
that?
special
Okay, go
promotion
ahead.
for that
I like
too,
that. Good idea.
for new players that have never played before to come in and possibly get a free entry into that $10 poker party. But we'll talk more about it next week on the show and on social
Cool.
media, of course. But now let's talk about what's going on in the NFL. That's what we like to talk about on the show. Big Ben Roethlisberger, believes 2025 is going to be Aaron Rodgers' last season. That's something we talked about on the show. We all kind of
Yeah.
agree with that. What
The
do
only
you think?
the only person who knows is Aaron Shaman or Shaman or whatever. That's
Yeah,
it.
Shyamalan.
Like his his advisors, his spiritual advisors. They're going to sit down, okay, and they're gonna have some kind of fire, and they're going to throw essence or.
Is this
or-
going to
or,
be in another
some kind of
country or
stuff.
here?
No, it'll be in some obscure country that nobody's ever heard of in the mountains.
Okay.
He'll be there with 17 random people with no shirts on, and it'll be hot and it'll be sweaty, and at some point, somebody in some other universe is going to tell him whether to play next year or not. So that hasn't been decided. Ben could guess at it, but Ben doesn't know that
No.
part of life or spiritualism.
He's not like
He's
that.
not- he's not on that
no,
level.
Ben's not doing
No.
ayahuasca
No.
or growing. He wouldn't understand.
No, he's not going to know. What do you think, Ernest?
No, I think he's right. I think he's right. At best, he'll be year to year. But
Yeah.
I thought he retired this year. Honestly, I was saying that the longer this whole thing went, that he's gonna retire this summer. But I think he'll be year to year. But I think most likely, unless this team actually does something, amazing, like they go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Maybe it can refuel some things there. But other than that, I think it's last year.
Okay, look at this scenario.
Okay.
AROD stays healthy. Steelers have Tomlin's first losing record.
Love that.
In his history. Is he fired?
It's
I'll say yes.
I'll say no, based on what I've known historically from that operation and the organization and the family and the way they've done things is when they get faith and they get confidence in somebody, they ride that confidence and through thick or thin. And how about this? I've seen it work out for the most part. I mean, look at you. You're still here. I mean,
we're all still here.
Mike starts 30-something years ago, and he's a lead out on the track, and he's not really great at what he does.
I'm kind of Mike Tomlin.
You're like the Mike Tomlin, and he did okay, and
with a better beard.
A couple Super Bowls in there, great
I have a
ideas
good
or whatever.
season,
but
good run.
And then now you're the 9-7 guy or whatever.
Keeping it
consistently
going.
trying and going.
We're still winning.
Yeah, me, I strung together 18 Super Bowls in a row for the job I've done here.
Was that just you?
That was just basically. But yes. Anyway, I was a coach. I'm Mike Tomlin. So, and I string together all these wins, and maybe I'm not stringing together as many wins as now. It's a little tougher, and I don't have the right players in place and other stuff. So
it's the players'
fault.
So, come get your man,
but
please.
they know at that level
this
that if we could get the right players in place
it's the
and the right
players'
people,
fault.
clearly it's the players' fault.
I think if that scenario plays out there, honestly, the problem is there's so many. And I know the Rooneys are they have faith in this guy and they stay the course and all that. But the whispers are not whispers anymore. Like we've been hearing for a couple of years now that
are you
people
eavesdropping
people
on Pat?
Steel fans in general, just frustrated in general, and I don't know if it has any value.
Well, we know
family.
it's not whispers because somebody sat in this chair for the past umpteenth weeks
and that
just let them have the business.
Yeah. And yes, I'm saying
not happy
anymore. So I think if that scenario might just
let me ask
this.
Are you a good organization or leader or owner if you're listening to that noise, or do you stay the course and go with what you feel is right?
The question is there value in shaking things up because things have gotten stale?
Yeah, because if
we discussed this before,
imagine we listen to the whispers and stuff on
whispers,
and then stay the course. You stay the course, and eventually they'll work themselves through, and we'll get it fixed, and we'll win Super Bowls again.
Yeah. I mean, the standard they have is winning Super Bowls. The problem is they haven't been there in 15 years.
Join the club. Like how many teams haven't been? So think about that for a minute.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and that's the pros and cons of this whole situation. I told Pat, you want to rebuild, but I'm a Giants fan who had success with our last coach, and we fired him literally 2-3 years after winning the Super Bowl, and we've been crap for the last 10 years. So
yeah, I agree.
There's a pros and cons to that too, also.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of pressure this season on Mike Tomlin.
Of course.
I think if they don't at least succeed.
I think he's. How about this? I think he's past the point of pressure because he's been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
If you watch some of these inside, they had that inside the thing where they got the Steelers and the other teams in there, and Tomlin's at a meeting, and I think he has his feet up on the desk and they're leaning back and they're like getting ready for this 10-7 season or 9-8 season or whatever, and he seems so nonchalant. I think. Somebody should lose their mind every single week in the NFL. If you lose, you should be sick. I remember when I coached Pop Warner football, and I didn't even have a lot of good players, but I went in there. I that weekend was absolutely wrecked. Saturday night was wrecked. Sunday was wrecked.
Right.
Until we got to practice on Monday, so I could yell at some kids and try to get this thing right. I was a disaster. So I don't think I don't know if I see that in Tom. Somebody should bring the guy in and be like, how much you care about winning. And then, depending on that answer, either throw him out of the building or keep him on.
No, you yell?
Sometimes you
mean?
yell.
You're actually mean?
Well, that's where – okay.
I'm surprised.
Okay.
You'll learn over time.
Here we go.
If you save the yelling for key spots, it carries more weight. Anybody could come in here and yell every day.
Sorry.
Then eventually it's just noise. I see.
Exactly.
So be ready for it. When I'm ready to yell, I'm going to yell.
Did you blame the little kids when they lost, or did you blame yourself?
Yes.
No, well, that's the other thing. It lands on the coach. Ultimately, it's the coach's fault for either having bad kids or not having them ready.
That's why it's yes. That's why it's yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach. Okay, now we're going to move on to our next topic, and that is Travis Kelce's preparing for his 13th NFL season, coming in to camp 25 pounds lighter. The question with the Chiefs, are they still Super Bowl contenders? Because I feel like we just look past them. We talk about the Ravens. We talk about the Bills.
Let me ask this. Okay, so did anybody see the Super Bowl?
I watched part
Okay,
of it.
I
yeah.
watched most of it. If
Did you
not
really?
every single?
Did you see all of it?
Yeah, multiple times, and it's on repeat on the screen at home, and it just runs.
Plays all the time.
Okay, what happened there was ugly. I mean, so you start talking about Super Bowl wins and beating a team. That was bad. I mean, they got handled up and down. Now you lose that. That thing where it's like the Chiefs are just the Chiefs and they beat everybody all the time. I don't know if they lost their credibility in that Super Bowl because it was a shellacking. BTA, as they say, the kids say nowadays, and I can't say what that is on here.
Yeah.
What is BTA?
Yeah, belt. Never mind. Anyway, so
that's from off the camera.
Yeah. And they did, and they took it to them. So now, do they have that same aura around them, or are they going to come in and be like, "Oh, we're going to show everybody we're not who we were in the Super Bowl," or whatever? Listen, there's teams, and they're breathing down their neck, and the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, they're there. And again, I don't want to get too far ahead. I got to see how things go, but I'm going to start giving you these winners soon.
Yeah.
But Super Bowl contenders, yeah. Yes, I mean Ernest throws out the Steelers as Super Bowl contenders, so you could probably
He's a homer.
Yeah,
when that happened?
You did.
When?
You do. You're
When?
Like, could they win this? You say things exactly like this. You say,
I try to
could they win the Super Bowl?
I create
yes.
narratives
you
that could
say
possibly.
That. Well, then you say they're a contender.
That's my job as an analyst.
Okay.
To create.
So anyway, Ernest says that Steelers are Super Bowl
They're not
contender. Oh, okay.
No.
Write that down.
No.
Write
Steelers.
that down.
Steelers.
I'm glad Pat's
Yeah,
not
no,
here.
Pat's
Steelers.
tuning in.
Steelers.
Tune in.
Man.
Pat knows that. Come on, Pat knows what's going on. Come on. No.
right.
So to me, and I said in the show last year, it's easy signs for me. Super Bowl contender. To me, you're Super Bowl contender if I see you playing in the conference championship game.
Right.
Do you see the Chiefs playing conference championship game? Yes, I do see that.
There you go.
Now, whether or not they win it, that's a whole different story. But to me, you're a contender if you're playing in that game. As long as that light-skinned quarterback they have there is still on that roster, that dude is. They're always contenders.
Carson Wentz?
Patrick
Right, so-
LeBron Holmes, the second.
Oh, okay.
Carson Wentz. He's still in the league.
He's not in there anymore.
That's a very light-skinned league.
no,
right there.
no, and
No,
I-
as long as that guy is
We're
still your
about
quarterback,
diversity in quarterbacks here.
I
on
do
this
think
show.
there's a conversation we had. Is Mahomes still the best quarterback in the league?
Mhm.
I
Can he be the best quarterback in the league when he gets shellacked in the Super Bowl by Jalen Hurts?
Why is that an insult? He's a top 5, 6 guy in the league.
What if he get outplayed in 2 Super Bowls against Jalen Hurts?
The
get
greatest
outplayed
quarterback,
by
the
both?
greatest quarterback in history of football got beat by my guy,
Right.
he's not even a Hall of Famer yet.
Talking about Eli?
Yes,
That's just,
so let's calm down that noise.
Mr. 500.
Yeah.
Okay, to me it's funny because we talk about the Chiefs like this every single year. Last year they had some struggles. The year before they had some struggles. They always make it to the Super
they're there.
Bowl. They're
Right.
always there. To me, it's going to be interesting again going into this next season as Kelsey gets older and obviously Mahomes is still a top 3 quarterback. Whether they can get back there with the resurgence of the Bills and of course the Ravens, it's going to be an interesting season.
And the thing is, too, also look at the rest of the AFC. You have those teams you mentioned. The Texans could be a problem. We'll see what happens there. You look at the Bengals could be back this year. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other teams there. The Chargers are on the way up now, and there's a lot of teams that are nipping at their heels. So I still think they're contenders, but it may be it's gonna be the toughest one of the bunch to get back to the title game.
Yeah. Now we talked about the boyfriend of Taylor Swift, and now we're going to talk about.
They were at the hockey game. Did you see that?
Well, last night
they lost.
Last night,
the other
game
one.
4.
No, when he shows up, you lose.
That's the game.
When
that
Kelsey's
they
at a
lost
football
at
game or
home.
hockey, you lose.
Isn't that lame though? Like you play
Super
blame on
Bowls.
them. That's kind of lame.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing is any championship game in the last year, if Travis Kelsey shows up, whether it be the Super Bowl that he played in or the hockey game, the home team loses.
So if he shows up,
That's so silly.
yeah. Like okay, so now we're going to talk about tight ends. Do you believe that they should make more money? Because that's what George Kittle says. I think they should. I think it's a huge position.
Hear me out, right?
Okay, here we go.
All right. Tight end is a Swiss Army knife, right?
Yes.
They do a little blocking. They do a little receiving, right? So
Some are better at one and another.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So, Swiss Army knife, how important is it? When's the last time you pulled out your Swiss Army knife when you needed to either cut your steak or take a screw out of the wall or something? You don't.
No.
What you do is you go get the screwdriver to take the screw out of the wall, and you cut your steak with a knife. You don't take the Swiss Army knife, which is the tight end. You get you understand?
I get
this
where you're going,
okay.
yeah.
So they're not excellent at one, and they're not excellent at the other. They're okay. I'll tell you this, and I know this for a fact. I'm a big Madden fan, right? So you look at these numbers on Madden, and the fact of the matter is, tight ends cannot block like a left tackle. They can't. They can't block like a right tackle. You get like Lane Johnson has a 98 pass block, like a tight end has like a 64. And this is like Kittle and all those guys. They can't block. They can't run block. And it is. They say, oh well, They cannot. They can no longer block these edges coming off the edge. So nobody's. Kittle's not blocking Parsons. It's just not happening. So you start getting into those things, and it starts to make you think, how important is that position, and could you fill it, or is that going to change? Now, they're targeted way less than receivers. They get way less touchdown than receivers on average by far, and they block way worse than the tight end or any of the linemen, a tackle. So yeah, it's tough to justify that. Now, I believe the numbers are skewed. I think the best left tackles in the game get paid way more than the tight ends.
Trent Williams.
Yeah, that's a little nuts to me. But yeah, so when you look at that, yeah, Swiss Army knife. No, I'll pay more for a screwdriver, and I'll pay more for a knife. And then you could have your Swiss Army knife.
Easy to Kittle to say he's making $19.1 million a year. I know Kelsey's making $17 million a year. Average salary is $8 million. I don't think that's a problem for a position that's. To me, I would say the most important positions in football are quarterback, left tackle, and defensive end.
Right.
So
and
those,
then
to me,
and then you throw a receiver.
And then receiver,
in there,
because
right.
if you have a great quarterback, you can make a receiver.
You know,
better.
maybe if Kittle didn't celebrate like a first down, like he was solving world hunger every time he scored gets a first down, and he's like throwing a parade for himself. It's wild.
See what
am I getting
happen.
old? Yeah, am I getting old? That stuff's annoying me.
That guy
every time he gets a first down,
he gets on my nerves.
No, not just him. Not just him. Every player does that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, first.
No, every player does not do that. Every player does not do that.
Yeah.
George Kittle is the absolutely worst.
No, he's probably the worst one. But every player
he does a, and then he.
Yeah,
like it's so corny.
During the interview, what the other person interviewing him should have said was, "Oh, you want to get paid more? Have you ever seen Madden?" That's what he should have said to him.
Yeah, well, no, that's what he said. Well, so you take out your Madden stats, and then you do a calculation, and you pay the guy based on his Madden stats. And frankly, George Kittle isn't even funny. Have you ever seen the thing where they talk about the tight ends, and he's trying to be funny? This guy is the corny guy who's
you
in
really
at the.
Hate George Kittle.
What's wrong with you?
Well,
He's likable.
Hate's a strong word.
He's a
hate
lovable
is a very,
guy.
Watch the thing. He thinks he's funnier than he is. He thinks he blocks better than he does, and he thinks he's a better player.
Maybe we don't know good jokes. Then I guess I don't know.
Next week we're going to try to have. Next week we're having George Kittle on the show. Everybody.
Dallas Goedert is a Super Bowl champion tight end. Let's stop talking about Kittle.
Oh, so Dallas is better than Kittle. Okay, wow, that's a discussion
He's a champ,
for another day.
and I know champs.
Yeah, because Jalen Hurts.
You do. Now let's talk about the NBA. The Thunder are now one win away from the championship.
When do we get in where I get to show what I'm cooking up?
Just show it.
Okay, let's show it now. So here's where we're at. Thunder's one win away, but check this out. So I have this. All right, this is an update for everybody on my cooked up bet. Now we see the green. You see the little green light next to the Florida Panthers?
That.
Okay, that's me picking. That's me picking another champion.
What?
So now we have Florida Gators, check. Florida Panthers, check. I'm one win away from now getting to the Oklahoma City Thunder for the three in a row. They're trying to buy me out. Hard Rock, write it down. I'm not getting bought out right now. You have to have somebody else call me, offer me more money.
No.
Not what they're offering me, but it's coming. It's up to $100-something for my $2. Oklahoma City Thunder is my next one, and I picked champs. You can mail this one in, write it down, put the champ stamp on it. They win tonight, take it home. Noah gets 3. He needs 2 more for $2 to win $12,000.
Quite frankly, of the 5 teams there, they're the easiest one to pick.
Jesus, that was loud.
Yeah, whoa.
What was he doing? He was holding
Sorry about that.
God.
No, quite frankly, of the 5 teams there, that's the easiest leg, honestly. I've said way back of the 5 teams. Easily.
Well, they're plus 180. I mean, look, it was. We said that, but yeah, you did pick that champ. I pick all the other ones.
Yeah.
So the money comes from the harder ones. So I got the Yankees in there. I know we'll talk about that baseball. We'll see. We'll get to that. But
should hedge that one.
Take that one down. I know everybody gets a little jaded about winners and stuff, and they get a little jealous. We don't want to leave it up there too long.
Yeah, no, nobody wants to see that for too long. But, there was a time just a few days ago where I was looking at that parlay, and I'm like, maybe neither one of those teams wins. But now, as the champion does, as the genius does, both of those teams are now looking like they are going to fulfill that parlay for Noah through Hard Rock Bet.
Could you imagine somebody be able to pick 3 out of 3 champions to start their parlay?
That's pretty awesome.
I'm going viral.
I would have said
is
maybe
that like a disease? Or
no,
something?
not like Ernest is
not
viral.
Like that.
No, not like
I would have said if Hallie was healthy for Game 6, maybe they have a chance to win Game 6 and push it to 7. But I tell you what,
ifs and buts, candies and nuts.
I said this at the game. I said this at the game in Game 3. Like they must win for Indiana because you stay on the gas.
This game's at
It's at Indiana. Doesn't matter. Hallie's hurt.
It's at Indiana. No, it's
This one tomorrow night.
Is he gonna play?
He's gonna play.
It's tomorrow night. It's tonight or
tomorrow night.
Why do you get so many days off?
I don't know.
TV schedule. TV.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's over tomorrow night. I think OKC they split one in the water, and then they won Game 5 big, and then obviously tomorrow night's going to be the clincher.
Okay, and the next question. NBA Finals ratings are down 24%. Is this because there is not a big-name superstar playing, or just a sign of the times where people have such a wide range of things they can watch?
I think the NBA is struggling a little bit with their product. I think they are, and I think a lot of the sports go through this. Baseball or NFL didn't do too bad. Overall, they're growing year by year. Hockey, they had their ups and downs, and they did some changes. I think basketball needs to do some changes with some of the rules, whatever it is, whether promote defense or less three-pointers or something. Frankly, it's not as exciting to watch as it used to be. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. And Ernest, you're a big basketball homer.
That's right.
You love to talk about it. But the intensity doesn't seem like it used to be.
No, I agree with you.
The fighting for boards, like, I don't know if I see anybody boxing a guy out and fighting for a board like they used to. They used to fight down there. Like, you remember when we played, Mike, we're in there, I'm backing guys down, I'm shoving and throwing elbows. There's none of that. Although they did have it in the WNBA.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay, what the hell was that? Anyway, but I don't feel like the intensity is there. We need that. We need intensity, and we need sports. Okay, so hockey, baseball is not. There's not a ton of intensity, but once in a while they'll clear the benches and everybody just throws down. So you do have that. But basketball, it's missing out on some of those elements. Guys taking wide open threes and swinging the ball around, boom, 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 and the guy's open for a three, and somehow nobody's there because I don't know where the guy who's supposed to cover him is, and he just launches an open three, and it bounces off the side of the rim. Somebody rebounds it, you go down the other way for a fast break, and you score quick too. It doesn't look the same as it did with half-court offense and some other things like they did back in the day with the Knicks and the Heat, where the guy would bring it up, Hardaway would bring it up at the half-court offense, and then everybody's set up, and then he's playing ISO, or Reggie Miller ISO backing some guy down, or that guy for the Pacers who used to back the guys down.
Dale Davis.
Annoying. So we don't have that anymore. We don't have the sky hooks from the Ewings and some other things. And I know I'm a little bit of homer, but the Shaqs, the element of the Shaq coming down and just mowing a guy down and dunking on his face as much. We don't have that. And maybe it's star power, some other things, but it just doesn't seem to carry the same weight.
Yeah, I think the problem with this series is star power because OKC, small market team, Indiana, small market team. If New York was in this finals, those numbers would be much higher. Yeah. It's disappointing too because aesthetically, these teams are the anti-today's NBA. Like, yes, they shoot threes also, but they also mix it up. Look at OKC. Jalen Williams got almost his 40 points on Game 5 going to the basket, slashing. That we like that. We like that kind of basketball. So, aesthetically, I love this series. It's been phenomenal to watch, but it's just sad that we're so star-driven on, if no LeBron, no Steph, no Durant, then no.
What I missed? I missed the most is the center matchups that we had in the 90s.
That's over. It's gone.
Olajuwon and Ewing. And then
Shaq and Ewing.
Shaq and Ewing, Shaq and Olajuwon. We had all these things, and you keyed on that matchup, and the ball would come down court, right? We lob it into and it's now it's like man on man, mano a mano, see what we could do, try to drop step, and he's fighting down there, and they're fighting for everything, and they're scrapping. That's gone now. When's the last? What center even posts up anymore?
I don't think that's
Jokic does. This is all.
Could you imagine that we can only name one in this day and age? That there's only one guy? Let's do this. Let's do, if you post up with your center, you get 3 points.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
2.5.
I will say Adam Silver is trying new things to make this more interesting. Some things I don't agree with, like the whole in season tournament. I'm not a big fan of that personally.
That's
but
stupid.
I agree. I know why he's doing it. I don't like it personally.
Okay, here's a concept. Ready? So, and I'm a innovator.
You're an innovator.
Borderline genius in a lot of ways. And
game
innovation is my thing, right? And I like games, card games. We did some things with downstairs and come up with
we play Uno
contests,
and you innovate that too.
Right, and you get creative.
Always.
Right. Okay. Imagine this. Let's do something that you have weighted where all the players on a team, all 5, there's some kind of weighted score where depending on each player and how they score, you get a score. This way everybody has to play and everybody has to do something and not just launch threes.
If your 7-footer goes behind the 3-point line, you just lost 3 points.
No, right. So but there's you don't have to what happens is you get traditionalists and you get in these patterns. You're like, that's the way it is. We have the same thing with poker sometimes with Texas Hold'em and some other things. At one point, Texas Hold'em was played only limit, right, where you couldn't bet all your chips. Then some genius, whoever he is, probably somebody very similar to me, said, we should let them bet all their chips at any time. And everybody's like,
what
a great idea. And now, boom, now there's no more limit hold'em and everything's no limit. So we need innovation. So stay active and get creative. There's ideas out there to reinvent these things. Reinvent yourself a little bit and make something creative.
I think it's as simple as I need players to give a crap. That's all. Care. You make a lot of money. You have consumers.
Yeah, get paid by how much you score.
Like give a crap. All-Star games. Yeah. I'm not saying that they play defense all like during the season, but give a crap a little bit for the consumer anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to move on. The Miami Heat, San Antonio Spurs, and Houston Rockets are 15-time All-Star Kevin Durant's preferred trade destinations out of Phoenix.
How did the Knicks fall off of that? I thought we were in
Knicks
there.
don't want him. Dolan doesn't want him. Dolan doesn't want him. He's still bitter about him turning him down in 2019.
Could you imagine?
He's a moron. That's why.
Yeah,
James Dolan's a moron.
What happens if Durant goes to Miami? How do you feel?
I mean, they'll be a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference next year.
Top 6. He came top 6.
Well, the thing is,
there's 16 teams.
Depending who you lose. Well,
look at us.
Well, depending who you lose, first off. But with Jason Tatum's injury now, that opens the door for a lot of things. I think New York's the favorite next year to go to the finals. Maybe even Indiana.
How long do you think that injury goes?
Well, it's Achilles, so that's a 12-month injury.
Okay.
So he got hurt in May? Do the math. The earliest to come back is probably March.
12 months, May.
Yeah, so
May.
The earliest he'll come back is probably March. Earliest.
Okay.
Which by then, who knows what Boston will look like that at that point. But
wow.
I mean, Miami. I mean, look, I think it'll be a decent move. I don't think it puts him over the top to win the title. I think
it'll sell tickets.
I think we'll sell
and
tickets.
jerseys.
I mean, they always sell tickets anyway.
Everybody, all the little kids down here to have KD jerseys.
I think the best fit for KD, honestly, and this is the rumors he's been coming out last couple of days, that he prefers to go to San Antonio. That's a better fit.
I like that.
That's a better fit.
That's scary.
You put him with De'Aaron Fox, KD, Wembanyama, and you keep those young pieces together. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Look out OKC.
That would be amazing. We have another question. It's not on the list.
Okay.
On a recent episode of the Mind Games podcast, which is actually his podcast with Steve Nash, LeBron James decried that the fact that great players in sports are ultimately judged by how many championships they have won. And he brought up Steve Nash as an example, Charles Barkley, and some others as people that have had wonderful Hall of Fame careers but haven't won a championship, and that's how people are judged. And it's just funny because LeBron's saying it, championship chaser, in my opinion, being a Jordan fan. How do we feel about this, Noah?
Well, you know how I feel about champions and how they should be recognized,
you are one,
right?
Of course.
So somebody who's a winner and knows winners and can recognize winners and win championships and all those things, they're going to separate themselves from the pack because they're the last team that's watched, and it's in the last event, and it's at the most important stage at the biggest time, and are able to succeed at that level. And you start to wonder, some of these guys who are moving around for the money, instead of trying to go for the championship, they kind of do that to themselves. And is there a value there after retirement of being a champion multiple times? Probably not as much as some of those fat paychecks that they're cashing. You probably can't capitalize on that being that guy who won. Oh, I won 3 championships, whoever it might be. But don't forget, that's what we're here for. Everything we're talking about here is about who's going to win the whole thing. That's all we talk about. We don't talk about they're pretty good, but they finished middle of the pack. We don't talk about that. We're not talking about the guys in the middle of the pack this year. We're not talking about LeBron right now. The reason why we're not talking about him is because he's not there right now. So, you're gonna get, if your ultimate goal is to win a championship, and you don't, it's hard to get over that hump of being considered in the upper echelon of the greatest. It's tough to do. Now, they are team sports, and I get it. All those things come into play, and people even make that argument. And it's hard to make the argument both ways. So you say, in a lot of sports, you win the championship, and all of a sudden you get all these extra grades. Jalen Hurts is not getting any extra accolades for winning the Super Bowl. They're still putting him in 10th and 8th and all this other crap. My only thing I care about for my greatest list is who can win me the Super Bowl, the Stanley Cup, whatever it is, whatever sport you're watching. If you win those things for me, those are my best players. Those are the guys I want around me. If I had to build a team, give me all the Super Bowl winners. That's who I want.
I want the champion.
He's not wrong though, because we do judge.
No, I'm
harshly.
not.
And
I'm definitely not.
No, I'm
I'm
talking
not,
about LeBron.
Oh.
Not you. Like, you have a point there.
He's not going to agree with you, Noah.
He's not wrong.
If that happens, the show ends right then.
And not only that,
We won't have a show anymore.
And not only
It's
that,
over.
no, and not only that, it's actually worse in the NBA because even one title's not enough. Unless you're Dirk Nowitzki, whose one title weighs a lot.
Yeah.
Certain titles mean more than others because of how you got there.
Okay.
Like Boston last year won a title with Tatum and Brown, but no one cares because they kind of beat almost every team that was injured. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the environment we created as fans that championships are bust. There's a lot of great players in this league and in many leagues that that didn't win a title. Dan Marino to me is a top 5 quarterback all time.
He's one that was able to get over that hump to be in those. When you talk about that, he was able to do it. But you can't name many others that are like, well, they are really, really great, and it should be in the consideration. Here's a question. So we talk about all these championships. Who carried? So you have these team championships.
Go ahead.
This is probably
I love this
easy.
topic.
Who do you think is the most valuable person for any championship in any sport ever? Who do you take if you had to say I need to win a championship in any of the sports? Who do you take? This one's
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
No question.
not Tom Brady.
Michael
I
Jordan.
mean, again,
Careful.
no,
Not Tom Brady.
But again,
And I'm not a big. I don't love Tom Brady, but if you
No,
had
no.
to pick, if you had to win a championship in any sport for your life, you're taking Jordan and
taking
5
Jordan.
random guys.
no, because again, the sports matter because
Yeah.
Jordan impacts both sides of the court. Tom Brady, you can have a 5,000-yard season.
Yeah.
If your team is trash,
Yeah, but still,
it don't matter.
Well, that's even better. I think he was able to overcome those things, even when he didn't have it. He was able to do things on one side of the ball that was good enough to win a whole game. Think about that for a second.
I just think
that's
I
why.
just think the optics of football is different because you need to have a somewhat.
So that's your guy. So you're taking Jordan. You're taking
I'm
Jordan
taking
too.
Jordan, hands down.
All right. Maybe we get back a poll. Let's do that. We'll put up a poll.
That's
for
good- that's a
next
good
week.
idea.
I like to see what everybody says. If you had to pick one player from every sport and it was life or death, whether you win a championship, who are you taking in a team sport? It's not going to be anybody in baseball. You can write that down.
Again, same thing.
Could you get into hockey? Could you get into Gretzky and some other things? That's a little tougher. But when you talk NFL and NBA, I think you get closer.
I think basketball and like hockey, but basketball is the one sport where because that one player impacts both sides of the court,
Right.
You have more impact.
But okay, so we'll just take it one step further. What's the most important position in any sport ever?
Quarterback.
There you
Oh,
go.
hands
But
down.
but
So now,
but
wait, if you have that,
hold on.
Yeah.
The thing is though, you're right. But to me, I always said
I am.
to me, an elite quarterback guarantees you 8-10 wins a year. You can get to playoffs.
Yeah.
You can get to playoffs with a great quarterback, bad defense. Beyond that,
Yeah.
it's a crapshoot because
Okay.
if you start playing better teams and so I think that with a quarterback, I agree it's more valuable, but I don't think you can win a title having a terrible defense and a great quarterback either.
I know how to fix this.
Okay.
So I'm the stat guy. Here's
Yeah.
what we do. I take the champions of each sport and see how many times it coexisted with the MVP of the league. Right? That would give you
not a
the
bad
MVP
game.
of the league
Right.
and the champion of that league, see how many times it matched up. And that'll give you an idea.
So Mahomes went last year. No, last
No,
year.
we'll do it. I'm gonna bring all the stats next week.
Okay, save that for next week.
Right.
I'll have this
Okay,
topic.
yeah.
I can't wait to talk
Yeah.
about that next week. And now we're going to talk about one of my favorite sports, the WNBA. Noah mentioned it a little bit earlier.
I just saw the highlights.
It was
Or the
awesome.
lowlights in slow motion. Like we're
was
hitting.
awesome.
We're
Give
here
me
and
more
we're
of
here.
this.
Yeah.
Give me more of this
we're
in my
all over
veins,
her.
man.
Oh, but it was over the line. It wasn't even in the context of the play. At one point, she's standing there, and after everybody's after she got punched, I think twice, and somebody just comes out of left field and just mows him down. And you know I am as aggressive as anybody during the game itself,
Yeah,
the
he
conduct
is.
of the game.
Don't
I
say.
get
That's how
I
he
get my
plays.
cheap shots in during the game. You get your cheap shots in
that's how he
before the whistle,
So he lives
in
his
between the
life,
whistles. You everything. Yeah, you get your cheap shots in when you can. When
He's the ultimate pro wrestling heel. I swear.
He is.
He was one of the
Yeah. So
nads.
last night, that was just god awful. The shove down at the end, like I don't know. What do you think?
Well, here's how it happened. It was in the third quarter. Caitlin Clark, Marina Mabry, and Tina Charles all got technicals. Sheldon got a flagrant one. It started with Sheldon poke Clark in the eye while defending her.
Oh my
And
God,
Mabry
really?
then forcefully bumped Clark, knocking Clark to the floor.
Yeah.
And then, with 46.1 seconds remaining, to me, it was awesome because you knew it was going to happen. Sophie Cunningham, who they just signed this year, the Fever, she is like a supermodel too.
Yeah.
She on a fast break, she had committed a hard foul on J.C. Sheldon, and that's when the fight started. You knew it was going to happen. You knew that Sophie Cunningham was going to do something because she has to protect.
Give me more of
her.
this. Give
and
me more
to
of
me,
this.
it makes the WNBA so much more interesting to watch because everybody last year was going after Caitlin Clark.
You know why it's
Wait,
cool?
last year it feels like they are still like.
Yeah.
What is their beef? Like, okay, so
Jealousy.
yeah, but
It is jealousy.
wait,
It's very simple.
like, okay, this is a touchy subject because you have female sports and male sports or whatever. Can you relate to something where the NBA players were so angry at somebody that collectively they started beating them up? Give me
like
a player.
Cooper Flagg. Okay.
Okay.
If Cooper Flagg comes in this year after going to the championship game,
Right.
and
he
that
comes
far,
in
the
and he's a
Final
big
Four
hero.
last year.
You think people are going to
Yeah.
start punching him?
No,
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
That's a similar thing because he was like an amazing player. We've been talking about him for a long time.
So the last time we had somebody come in, Caitlin Clark, it's hard to compare it to anybody coming into a sport and changing the whole sport.
Steph Curry might be the only one I could think of that.
I don't even think it's tough. That's tough.
That was already popular.
LeBron, like even that, and popular and all those things. But to take away, she is like 95% of the market. Like she's 95%. That's
Easily.
everybody here. We're all talking about. That's all. That, I'm only watching that. I'm not watching the rest of it. I just not.
Yeah.
So we haven't had that before, and how would people react to that? Be like, well, we're here playing it, and we're pretty good too, but you're not her, and I'm sorry you're not her, but you don't have to beat her down.
No.
Like
A lot of jealousy in that
Like,
league.
could you imagine me? I'd be getting assaulted. I walk through the hallway here, and people be beating me down. Be like, "There's that guy Noah, and he has all these great ideas all the
People
time.
all
Picks all
want
these winners."
to.
We
I
know-
think
we know-
everybody
we know why I
wants
love
to
this
do
so much.
that.
We know why-
Imagine if they're allowed to cheap shot me.
We
What
know-
would happen?
But do
You
you know
wouldn't
why
make it out to your car every day. It would
We
be
do
so bad.
why I love this so much though.
Why?
They care.
Yeah.
The NBA. I'm not promoting. I don't want fighting all the time. But these women care.
Well, wait. Do they care about winning, or do they care about
Both.
like, not being recognized?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Right.
It's that's to me why the WNBA is now exciting, and it's the Caitlin Clark effect. Nobody can change my mind on that. But you know what? Let's talk about Hard Rock Bet real fast because they
I
actually
love it. I
have,
got 'em. I
they
have
a
'em.
new offer that actually just started last week.
This is great.
It's bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, and that is new players who sign up, deposit, and place their first cash bet of at least $5
$5
with the Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook.
That's the best offer I've seen on here.
It
yet.
is. It will get $150 in bonus bets. Only the first place cash bet is going to qualify for the promotion, and then the qualifying bet must have odds of -250 or longer. And then the bonus bets will split up in 6 $25 bonus bets.
All right, so -250 or better. My parlay is -586,000 and change, and I'm going to hit that thing. So here's what you do: you fire a $20 bill. So go click the QR code now. This is easy.
Get on that
I know
QR
the
code.
economy's tough and gas prices are going to go up and all these things. I'm going to fix it for you right now. Click on the QR code. Right, get that. Tune in next week. I'm going to start spitting more champions and more facts and more winners, and you parlay this thing in, and then all of a sudden your life is easy.
Yeah,
It's that simple.
And if you want more information, you can always go to our website, pbkennelclub.com/hardrockbet, and that is offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. You got to be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-88-AD.
You know, they can even come in and say you haven't signed up yet. Say, hey, I'm thinking about that 150 offer. Ask for Noah Carbone. Come in, I'll get you signed up, and then I'll give you one of my winners
Yeah, exactly.
for free. How about that?
Yeah, come on and ask for Noah, and you know, we'll take you right to his office. You can sit there and talk with him for a little while. And
pick the brain that is a genius.
Yeah, I mean that's the best way to do it. And now we're going to talk about some baseball. Every time I look over at Jake, who's
He's
producing
just
the show,
laughing.
and he's shaking his head, I'm like,
I wonder what he really thinks. But he knows
Oh,
the truth.
man.
He knows what
Yeah,
I'm doing.
he
My
knows
record stands.
something.
My record
Yeah.
stands for itself. I'm sorry it's that way, and this is the worst thing that could happen to anybody on the show or producing the show or who reside in this business or who has internet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's the worst. So let's talk about the San Francisco Giants just sent Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, James Tibbs, and another prospect to the Red Sox for Rafael Devers. In early May, the Red Sox asked Devers to move to first base. He declined. He suggested the front office should do their jobs and find another player.
When you say – okay.
Yeah.
So we have a front office here, right?
Yeah.
So
there's a
we're
front
here.
office here.
So okay, so we're talking about things and how things are going, and be like, you know what? The front office doesn't know what they're doing. They need to get their stuff together, and that's what I'm telling you right now. Like my phone rings, my cell phone rings right now, and I call and I'm gone. Like you're not there anymore. You're gone. You're officially gone. When you call out the front office, you're not employed by that whatever it is, whether it's a baseball team, the Palm Beach Kennel Club, whatever. You call out the front office publicly. Plan on not being there any longer. So he forced his hand and he's gone, and that's another thing. And then I thought San Francisco Giants, like that's almost like purgatory. Like let's send him to the Giants and make him lose games. And
nobody's going to see him anymore.
Like he's going to see him. He's going to fade away. He literally wrecked his career. And he's sent to obscurity with the San Francisco Giants.
Really?
And now
they got a lineup. They do. They got a good team.
The only three have back at the Dodgers right now in first.
But that's not the point. The Red Sox are the Red Sox. The Yankees are the Yankees. But there's a handful. There's only 4 or 5 of them. You're there. Your upside is staying with the team, trying to win championships, promoting yourself a little bit. Now you're exiled to San Fran. They have a pretty decent roster. San Fran, you go there. I guarantee the players who play in San Francisco combine their marketability with their paychecks, and it's nowhere near what you're getting on the East Coast with the Red Sox. That's it.
Yeah, they've been good. The Sox haven't been good in a while though. They've been kind of tailed off since.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for your career.
No, I could just say.
Okay.
But yeah, I think he knew what he was doing. I think he knew that when he did that, he's gonna get traded. I mean, you tell him no.
He didn't want to play for a team.
And then you tell him no. You tell him no, and then say on top of that, oh, by the way, your front office should know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, I'm in the front office, and you call me out, right? And you say, yeah, that front office, like, no, they don't know what they're doing. They need to get their stuff together. You know where you're going? Miami Marlins. Like right to the Miami Marlins.
I can't wait.
Send you right down there.
Yeah, no, it's not the worst thing for him, but to go to a smaller town, and especially with being on the West Coast where nobody's going to watch him play anymore.
Yeah.
San Fran's
it's different. San Fran has a better chance, I think, of doing well in the playoffs, possibly. But getting out of
that brand,
Boston,
the Red Sox brand compared to the San Francisco Giants brand, from the colors. And I hate the Red Sox. I'm a Yankees fan. It's just not even the same. It's not even the same. It's almost like not even in the same league. It's almost like the minor leagues of baseball, San Francisco Giants compared to the Red Sox. That's my opinion.
Yeah. We got a Red Sox fan here that helps produce the show. Hey, Sully. Hey, do you care that Devers is gone? He's happy.
There you go.
Okay, the Red Sox, there he goes. He's happy.
Sully exiled him too. He's
that's
like,
all
I'm
I
done
needed
with
to
that.
know.
I'm done with
I'm
that.
done with your front office. Do your job.
Yeah, that's all I needed to know. Sully doesn't want him, then we don't want him either.
That's it.
Now, Ohtani actually returned to the mound on Monday night, pitched 1 inning, touched 100 miles per hour with his fastball. Why is he pitching? Why do they need him to pitch?
I don't know, man.
I don't know if it's as much need.
No. That's the only player when you talked about earlier. I knew we were going to talk about him when you thought, was one player that can, help a team so much. Being the only player other than like a Babe Ruth or maybe.
But even then,
baseball, it's not enough.
But even then, though, look, he was in Angels doing the same thing, and they were still bad.
They were terrible.
So
they had no team around
and that's
them.
with Mike Trout on top of that.
Of course,
so
one of the best ever.
Yeah, no baseball player will ever be as valuable as any football player.
There's too much nuance.
He's the only one you can bring up, but he can't even.
But do they get paid like they're super important?
Yeah,
literally, you pay all this money for Ohtani, and he moves the needle a little bit. You get an extra run or save, or maybe 2 or something, like a half a run a game or something ridiculous, and you just give him heaps and heaps of money. That's a wild thing to me.
Which is why he's pitching in the first place, because he's pulling that big contract.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's not paying. If Ohtani was being paid solely to hit, then that contract is overblown. Yeah. Because there are many guys doing what he does, those numbers. He's special because he can do both on both sides of the diamond.
But even his hitting, I mean, come on, he's absolutely amazing.
No, I'm not saying he's not, though.
Even
but
one or the other.
But he's not much better than Aaron Judge as a hitter, though.
Of course.
Much better. You know what I'm saying? To where you could pay him double the money that Aaron Judge is making right now. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
I get it. No, I get it. I just don't. I don't see risking him, especially at this point of the season, trying to pitch. I mean, he already had Tommy John surgery. I just don't feel like wasting him pitching right now is the best alternative.
Mike, they're doing it because they can.
Yeah, of course.
That's why.
Yeah, they have the ability. They have the money.
Hopefully it backfires.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry.
that's what we're hoping
As a Met
for.
fan.
Exactly. Now we're going to move on to golf. There was a big golf tournament last week called the U.S. Open, and J.J. Spaun won with a 64-foot birdie putt on 18.
Wild.
That's amazing.
Longest putt made of the entire tournament.
Rain.
And it happened to be on Father's Day, where Spaun actually was up the morning of Father's Day running to CVS in downtown at 3 a.m.
That's all well and good. You went and you won the U.S. But okay, he was just doing his minimum dad duty. We all have done it. I've been up at 3:30 in the morning with a kid who's teething, and then I roll into here at 10 a.m. in a
for a
director's
$4.5
meeting.
million
And I
director
absolutely
meeting?
crushed the director's meeting. He's not reinventing the wheel. He's being a dad and he's working his job. It's the same. It's a parallel. It's very big deal. You won the U.S. Open. I get it.
Man.
We've all done that, Dad. We've all been dads and we've all done these things. You've done it, Mike. You've been up all night.
I've been up
You're
all
like,
night, and then I went and played mini golf, and I still was under par.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, anybody can do it, right?
Yeah, so thanks for doing your job as a father. That's a good job.
Jesus.
But like he shouldn't get an extra trophy. We should all get trophies as dads for what we do
Still a cool
with
sto-
kids and still
there's
show
some
up
moms
for work.
that would be really
it's
upset
all
that
relative.
I think it's
saying
still a cool
that,
story,
but-
though, because he did that with
No, nobody's told my story. Nobody's told my story that I was up with a kid with runny diarrhea or whatever all night or whatever in a mess, and the kid's crying, the mom's tired because of the thing, and you come in and there was nobody ever told my story, Mike.
Yeah. The other day, I was my kids were sick at night. My kid was having a nightmare, and then I came in and I ran a poker tournament, and it was amazing, and nobody was like, "Oh my God, Mike, that was amazing!" Nobody cared.
The jealousy
Mike.
is
the
heavy.
guy
in these
wins
two.
a golf tournament.
The jealousy is insane.
See, I'm
in
on
these two.
Noah's. I'm on Noah's team
and now he's a hero because he went to CVS. We've all been there, Dad.
That was a great feat. Come on,
Yeah.
for $4.5 million in the title, being up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
He doesn't have a nanny?
On
I'm
Father's
just
Day.
saying they're not.
Wow.
That kind of money, you don't have a nanny to do for you?
Ernest.
There you go.
Low blow.
I don't know.
But no, that was an amazing feat. So J.J. Spaun, who's somebody that, in my opinion, flies under the radar with the PGA.
Somebody brought him up. Who brought him up?
Pat must have brought him up. Yeah.
No, somebody brought him up to win it. Was he you?
No, it
Ernest?
was not me, no.
Okay,
No, it must
somebody
have been
did. I
Pat,
didn't.
but-
I didn't see that one coming. Yeah.
Apparently the Oakmount, it's tough. It's
a
Yeah,
tough
Pat
round.
covered that. It was a tough
Probably
attempt. But he was 4 under after round one,
Right,
and my guy was just toast. Rory was just toasted. He didn't.
He didn't qualify, I think,
No,
to be on
he
D2,
didn't.
right?
It's called make the cut. He did not.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Spaun, he had the lead, and then he didn't have the best day on Sunday, and then hitting that 64
Then
foot
goes to
putt.
CBS and comes back with a
Unbelievable.
vengeance.
Where does
after hitting CBS.
Sheffer place? I don't think he made the final
I
cut
don't
either.
think
right?
he was in the top either.
Right.
Was it actually CVS?
If that's what they said.
Maybe
One
Walgreens,
great,
yeah.
Maybe
like you
Walgreens.
talk about backing into marketing
He's
stuff.
getting a deal with them now.
Like we need something to happen here where somebody wins the Super Bowl after playing poker at the Kennel Club.
Yeah, something like that.
Right?
That
Free
would be
marketing
nice.
stuff.
That'd be great.
Super
So
Bowl here in
congrats,
Miami, and then come. Yeah.
congrats to J.J. Spaun.
job.
Also in the news right now, there's some big things going on in football, and that is what we call
All right,
soccer
so
here
this
in
is
this
why.
country.
What other sport?
That's one of the foot, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so we get these
Yeah.
world sports. What other sport can you come and play as a foreign nation, another nation, where at the same time you may be getting bombed by the same nation? It's wild. Iran's actually in this thing, which is absolutely
That's crazy, yeah.
wild. So now they're coming over here on the soil and how that's going to be received and all that stuff. And you would like to think that things like this bring people together. Like let's bring everybody together. Let's settle everybody down and play a little soccer. But it's exciting stuff. You look at the names that are coming. This is when and it doesn't get as much traction as it should. But all the players that are coming here are the best in the world.
Of course, and the reason I brought this up is because on Sunday, I'm on Facebook or Instagram, and I keep seeing these videos of the Real Madrid buses pulling through
It's
Lake
so
Worth,
fun.
and I'm like, "Dad, get out of there, guys! Like it's not safe."
Right.
I grew up in Lake Worth, obviously, so I can say that.
So you're allowed
but
to say that. Yeah.
but
is that the
it's-
hard streets of Lake Worth? That's what hardens you, and that's why you're
that's why I
you're
am the
who you
way
are
I
today?
am.
Out
So
east,
blame
huh?
Lake Worth for it.
Yeah.
But
Raising together.
no, it's really
Are you
cool to
strapped
see.
right now? You're strapped.
Possibly to see Real Madrid.
safe.
Mbappe's on that team. Some of the greatest in the world are right here in our backyard, like a stone's throw away.
What's he? Wait,
It's
they're-
awesome.
The players are in Lake Worth hanging
Well,
out.
they were actually practicing in Palm Beach Gardens, so up by you.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mbappe was in Palm Beach Gardens, and I
You
didn't know this.
If,
Wait,
if it was Josh Allen, you would have known.
I would have known. How long
would
are
have
they going
been
to be
there.
there? Are they going to be there?
Well, they're actually.
Can I get
because-
there? Can I get?
Well, that's where they were practicing, but
I
they're
can-
they're
yeah.
playing
Mbappe's
actually
I like
today.
that. I hate to give out where I live, but I'm right around there somewhere, very close.
Yeah.
Because my stardom and the whole.
Because of
like,
the
it's
mansion
bad.
and everything?
Yeah.
No, I got you. Nobody wants to know that, but no, I think it's so cool. I mean, we don't hear a
that's
lot
wild.
about it because obviously in this country, but I know Messi's
So I have
playing
it. I
everybody.
have it on a bucket list for the World Cup when they come here. I have it circled. I have to get. I gotta experience that. You try to. Life is about experiences. It's not about vehicles and all this other stuff. It's about experiences, getting out there. And World Cup is one of those that you got to put on the list. This is a little introductory into that to go down. When's the first? Do we know when the first game in Miami is? I started looking at the schedule.
Playing. Yeah, they've been playing here already.
Yeah.
The games have been going on all over the United States. I think it's cool because they have them in different cities too. But in Miami
so
for sure.
Just so you know, so as I looked into this, and you throw this topic up there, and I'm learning about it as we go because I don't. Because I was so focused on hockey and what champions there, so I can give a champion for this. I will, okay?
Okay.
But I have to dig into it a little bit. But then I started researching a little bit. I have a trip to Seattle and Vancouver in the next couple weeks, 2 weeks from now, and they're there in both cities, like with all the championships and stuff, and it's gonna totally, like either I'm gonna go to a game or I'm gonna be totally like disoriented and not have a place to stay because everybody and her mother is going to be out in Vancouver or Seattle. It's like everywhere. It's literally everywhere.
Yeah.
By the way, breaking news. It's been.
What do you got?
It has been barely 12 hours, but the Stanley Cup's already dented.
Good.
Too much partying last night. My God. The picture here of the bottom. Let's see right here.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Just saw your kids.
The bottom there.
Oh, it's
that
got
happens.
dented.
That's
Yeah,
all
it
right.
happens.
A lot of partying, a lot of alcohol.
No, you got to drink
Yeah,
stuff
they can
out of there.
fix it.
I
They
like
got
when they
people
bring it
for
to the
that.
beach. You bring it to the beach.
The Stanley Cup's
But
got
like,
full-time employees.
Would you say that's
No.
probably the most beautiful trophy of the pro sports?
It's most prolific. It's like the most iconic.
You show
trophy.
that, people know what that is.
I would rank it Stanley Cup, World Series.
No.
I don't know,
You missed
NBA
it.
championship because of
No,
the Jordan years hugging it.
No. As we're talking about football, that World Cup one for
Yeah,
soccer
that's true.
is
Yeah,
pretty
everybody knows what that is.
cool.
More
Like,
people in
it's
the
a
world
we
would
should
know
do
what
it.
that
Yes,
is.
we
than
should
anyone.
do that one day. Rank those.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to ask that question for trophies someday on the show.
Regular trophies.
Now let's move on to sports betting picks of the week. My 2 picks of the week. I'm actually, because we were talking about it a second ago, I'm taking the Real Madrid to win today. I'm picking them to score over 3.5 goals and Mbappe at any time goal. It's a really small one, $25 to win, $87.50. And then just to spite Ernest, I picked the Pacers to win tomorrow night. And Pascal Siakam over 21.5, and Alex Caruso, who's one of my favorite players, over 1.5 steals, and that'll get you $225 if you bet $25.
So I've been, and maybe because I know champions and I'm picking the Panthers and the Thunder and all these things, I am absolutely hooked on cooking up parlays with even within the game. So last night I missed by one. I needed Marchand to get any point. He didn't. I missed on that, but I had the Panthers and 3 guys getting a point and all this stuff, and that starts to add up where you could bet $5 and win like $82 or something like that. That's what I'm about. I'm about low introductory level. And as everybody understands, I have the $2 bet that's going to win me $12,000.
It's going to win us $12,000.
Me, 12,000. You maybe lunch,
the show,
or something. The show will have lunch.
You get lunch free here.
Red Lobster?
Yeah, but
Red Lobster?
I'll buy lunch, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So officially, everybody get buy lunch. But yeah, I'm doing picks. So I'll do the Thunder for this one, and then I'll get into the soccer stuff, throw some goals on top and other things. But then I'm really focused on trying to, once the Thunder lock in the third, now I got the Yankees and the Eagles for the rest of my parlay. Trying to make sure I have everything in place to do that. So there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of planning and a lot of time investment in all these things. You wouldn't understand, but if you want the shortcuts, I have them. Just come see me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go see Noah. Anything sports betting wise?
Yeah, you're crazy. I'm taking OKC to cover 6.5 points tomorrow night.
Tell them,
take
Ernest.
the over.
We know champions.
It's over. SGA gets his first title, and it's called a day. Parlay that. And I'll do a future one that's Panthers plus 1,000 because it won't be that high again once they resign half these players.
And as we mentioned earlier, they have a new promotion with Hard Rock Bet. The welcome offer is bet $5. Get $150 in bonus bets. You can find out more information, pbkennelclub.com/hardrockbet. And that is offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Got to be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. And let's talk about the June high hands going on right now in the poker room. $15,000 cash giveaway is coming up on the 28th. That's 10 days from now. And those progressive high hand weekends. Don't forget the bad beats over $200,000. And as we'll talk about on the show next week, the $10 poker party is next Friday night.
Yeah, so on next Saturday, you can win, like, the bad beat, the high hand, the progressive high hand. Like, there's a million ways to win tons of money. And then you could come in and then sign up for a sports bet app and then take my picks and parlay that. Like, there's so much money up for grabs around here. It's ridiculous.
We're just giving it away here.
We're just
That's what we're doing. So what are we looking forward to this weekend, Noah?
No, now I'm transitioning once the Thunder wrap it up tomorrow.
Transitioning.
Yeah, I'm going into the soccer, baseball, and other things. So I'm going to start regrouping and starting to. I'm not as good at daily baseball stuff and picking all those things or whatever. I'm going to leave that to somebody else. But I'm going to stay in my wheelhouse. I'm going to pay attention to things I know. I'm going to start cooking up bets for everybody, some future bets and championship picks. Because when you're good at something, you just stick with that formula, and that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Looking for the Mets start ending the snag. They're on 4-game snag. They got
tough, right?
They got swept by Tampa over the weekend.
Wow.
And then last night up 4-1 against Atlanta. Atlanta comes back, wins the game in the extra innings. Yeah, so hoping that.
Awesome.
Are you all right? Are you okay?
No.
Yeah.
Best record in baseball. I'm not okay still.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to all the text messages we're going to get tomorrow night when Oklahoma City wins.
And I show you my 3, and then my new. So I'm being offered right now for my $2 bet. I think I could have a buyout for $100-something. I'm not doing it yet. Tomorrow, when the Thunder win, it's going to go up in the 200 and plus change. We're going to have to do better than that, Hard Rock. I know you're trying to get me out of this one because you know I picked champions, but
I'm going to
I'm letting it
cash
run.
out for it. I'm going to take his phone and I'm going to cash out for $200.
I'll tell you that the only one to sweat
And then
the
imagine
Yankees.
that, then they hit the other two. Yeah, we're fighting.
Again, the only sweat there's the Yankees. Because, I mean,
That's a tough one.
they'll get there probably, but it's the winning part.
You're going to judge at the end of the season if it's a team that you think could win the championship. You might want to take that cash out.
Good thing I know champions.
Eagles.
He knows champions. I'm Mike Jameson, the champion right here.
That's me.
And then behind us is Ernest Christian. We'll see you next week right here on PBKC Picks. Have a great week.
PBKC, your ultimate destination for poker excitement in South Florida. 65 tables of action. Friendly and professional staff. Cash games featuring the best jackpots and promotions in the state. Daily and evening tournaments that cater to all levels of players. Table games like 3-card poker and Ultimate Texas Hold'em with just a $5 minimum. Experience all the thrill and excitement of Vegas-style poker right in your own backyard. Get cool summer vibes this June in the poker room with new bigger high hand promotions. High hands every 15 minutes, 9 a.m. to midnight with a $15,000 cash giveaway on June 28th. Also this month, progressive high hand weekends with a $100,000 bonus giveaway. Win extra cash for qualifying hands. Miss it today, win more tomorrow. Visit the poker room for complete rules.